Rambling this morning, running behind. I didn't even post that I'd be live, so I'm going to give it a few minutes to see if we have some folks join. Give it a few minutes. See what y'all say about sound today. I don't think I had my AirPods on, so let's see if that works. If we'll have some sound today. Good afternoon. Hi, Michelle. Hi, Cynthia. Can you all hear me? I got some backup headsets over here just in case you can't. Hello, Latasha. Greetings. Somebody tell me if you can hear me. Oh, sound is good. Thank you, Cynthia. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Michelle. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. The AirPod decided to work today. Bless its little heart. My apologies. I am running behind, so I didn't post that I was going to be here today. So I'm happy that you all are here. Hey, Robert. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good afternoon, V. Day. I'm glad you can hear me. Good morning from Chicago. Glad you caught the live as well. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Sunday, everybody. I missed y'all last Sunday. All right, I am going to do my intro. Let me see if I have my stuff set up to do my intro. Probably not. Oh, I do. Look at that. All right, let me do my intro and we can get started. Good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you are located. My name is Jewel Pearson. This is Miss Bohemian Soul TV. The segment is Creating Home, a tiny house series. And we've got several segments in the series. We've got conversations on intimate spaces where I'm interviewing someone in and around the tiny house movement. We also have the What's Your Question, where I'm answering some frequently asked tiny house questions. And then we have our kind of open dialogue, our community conversation, which is this morning, where we're literally just sharing in community. As I introduce myself, I always say that I built a kind of fancy tiny house in 2015. And since that time, I have shared my journey to hopefully inspire others who are interested in the movement. I do offer coaching and consultations to help others in their tiny house journey. And once I get myself together and this goes live and I do all of the things I'm supposed to do, you will find the links to be able to schedule and connect with me in the video description below. And as I'm doing all of that, I like to serve up a lot of representation in this movement. I want us to see ourselves, hear our concerns, share our joys and successes and all of those things as we're participating in this movement. As I always say, it's also my intent to build figurative and literal community that is inclusive and accessible. And if you find this information in the video helpful, I hope you will like it, you'll share it, and you'll subscribe to the channel and then turn on the notifications so that you'll know when content is live. All right, that is my intro. Let me get back here. Happy Sunday. Um, yes, Robert is a lot. It's a lot. We love Robert though. I missed you too, Michelle. Thank you. Grand Rising from Florida, Linda. Happy you could be here. I'm glad you can hear me loud and clear. Day is asking what part of Florida you're in, because there might be some connections happening in the community. So happy Sunday. I did miss you guys last Sunday. I was actually traveling, which is probably what I'll talk about this morning. And then I also want to talk about, I hope y'all can't see how dirty my glasses are. I also want to talk about the Tiny House Festival that is the Carolina Tiny House Festival that is actually next weekend. So we kick off on Friday with the workshop. So we're gonna talk about that. And I won't be here next Sunday as a result. So anyway, so yes, last Sunday I was actually in Brazil. As I shared, I was traveling to support some family. I have a young cousin who lives in Brazil. Happy Sunday, happy Sunday. Um, a young cousin who lives in Brazil who um, had the flu, ended up with double pneumonia in the hospital on a ventilator, and it was a very scary situation. He's actually still in the hospital. They should be letting him out hopefully Tuesday or so. And his mom went over to be with him, and they've had a lot of loss within the last 3 months. She lost her mom. I think I shared a bad accident that happened in Atlanta that were two of my cousins, her grandsons, that were two. It was three grandsons in the car. Two of them died in the accident. So it's just been a lot of loss. And I don't know how she's moving from day to day, and then having her son in the hospital in another country was, I know, more trauma to add to that. And so she's not a solo traveler like me. And even as a solo traveler, some things you just don't necessarily want to have to handle by yourself. And so she had to do the last minute trip. And I have um, flight benefits, so I can travel at a rate not as expensive as most. And so I knew it was going to be another hardship if somebody else in the family tried to go over to support her, since, last minute tickets and international tickets are expensive. So I had the ability to go over and support, and that's what I wanted to do, to be able to support her. And so I um, left Tuesday before last, no, Monday before last. So I was, I'm looking like I left on the 1st, April the 1st. Was that when I left? No, I left on the 25th. I'm all confused. I left on March the 25th, and I just got back this week on Thursday. And it was such a honor, a privilege to be able to support her in that way. Um, just like I said, knowing everything that she's been through, it impacts the family, but obviously it's her mom, her grandchildren, and then her son. And she was operating based like in a fog, as you can imagine. And so it was a privilege for me to be able to offer that support to her. And it was the first few days were really tough because, he was intubated, and he ended up with sepsis, and just everything that could go wrong was going wrong. And so the doctors kept saying, it's baby steps. And so you take a step forward, and then something else would come back, and it would take us some steps backward. And that was just a lot to deal with. And it was the first few days I was there, it was cloudy and rainy, and it was just a lot. And then in the hospitals, you don't often have access to outside. So we were in hospitals all day, and then cloudy and rainy. So it was a lot. But there were some, and so now, I think it was last Thursday that, like last Thursday started out awful. We'd had a good day the day before, and then woke up to finding out his temperature had spiked, and a lab had come back, and it wasn't good. But by the end of that day, it had completely turned, and um, they were reducing the sedative, and he was waking up, and he actually, I think, said a sentence by the end of Thursday. So it completely turned around, and it's been going really well since then. Like I said, he should be out on this Tuesday. Um, I think the things that I wanted to talk about, that kind of just stuck out for me. So my young cousin, he's in his early 30s. He's lived in Brazil, I think he said 5 years now. And he's built he's established a beautiful community for himself. So it was, while it was, you know, traumatic to be in another country, especially for my cousin, you know, dealing with all of this. His community of friends, and these were young people, were so very supportive. One of his friends is a cab driver, so he didn't want us doing Ubers or anything like that. Every opportunity he had to pick us up and take us where we needed to go, he was there. He didn't want us to carry a bag. He didn't want us to open a door. Um, we never had to stay overnight at the hospital. His circle of friends, to include two of his friends, their mom, they stayed overnight. They wanted us to go home and rest, and we were there all day, but they stayed overnight with him so that we didn't have to. And then you often hear about how, you know, the arrogance of the United States, where, you know, people will use words like third world country, or they'll say things like, our country is the best, like healthcare, all that kind of stuff. That was so not the experience, gratefully, that my cousin had. We were in a hospital there that you could really tell that everyone, the nurses, the doctors, they really enjoy their job, or they do their job because they care. Everybody was caring. They pulled in machines from, it's like they ordered a machine that they wouldn't normally have in the area that they wanted to do some testing with for my cousin. And they thoroughly went through everything that could possibly, you know, researching what could be the cause, and consulting with each other. And they didn't leave a stone unturned in their, guess I would say, due diligence. You know, I'm always talking about due diligence. They didn't leave a stone unturned in their due diligence. And then some other doctors that he had seen previously, they somehow, as a network, and they knew he was in the hospital, and they came by the hospital to check on him and to consult with these doctors, and to let them, and they said to us, it's important for these doctors to know that he has other doctors that care and are watching what's going on with him. So the care was just something I've not ever experienced in the States. Oftentimes, I mean, I'm not saying you don't have nice nurses, I'm not saying that at all, but oftentimes here in the state, and doctors, but oftentimes here in the States, the workload is unbearable for them. And so while they, you know, they're kind, they're also very overwhelmed. And so like when I experienced my TIA, several of my doctors I only saw via video conference. Like they would roll this thing in, and my consultation with the doctor was via video conference. It wasn't a person in the room. I had one main doctor who was kind of facilitating the work, but then he'd share and, you know, doing the testing, and the other doctors would review it. I'd never met some of them in person. But these doctors, it was a different experience. And I also know they're overwhelmed, but it was a totally different experience. And it was a beautiful, you know, considering the circumstances, it was a beautiful experience, to see the care and concern that they had for my cousin who was dealing with the illness, as well as his mother, and for me to make sure we were taking care of ourselves, and to and then the challenge was that they speak Portuguese. So there were a few doctors who spoke English, but there was the communication challenge, and they all went out of their way to make sure that we could communicate, and there wasn't a concern that we weren't communicating because of the language difference, or the language barriers. So, and then, like I said, his circle of friends, just making sure things at his house were taken care of. Um, his So he lives in a building, and I was like, this is why I need to move out of the state. So he has a housekeeper, he has a doorman, and that's kind of commonplace and when you're traveling. But his doorman made sure to or maybe it's security, maybe that's the better word, made sure to let us know that he was praying for him and he was thinking of him. And then reaching out, my cousin was trying to determine like my cousin's bills, like what needed to be taken care of. And the person he rents his apartment from was like, you all do what you have to do. We can talk about this later. Figure out what you're doing. And it's like, who really is doing that kind of stuff to be that genuine and caring about people. And so for me, it was just and we talk about it here, the beauty of community, the importance of community, and the beauty of community when it's like you already know, my cousin has poured into his community for those people to pour into him that way. Like it's a reciprocal community, and there was some genuine care and love. One of his friends, she came by and took us to. She was like, on Friday, I'm taking you all to this restaurant. You need to get away from the hotel. I mean, I keep saying hotel. You need to get away from the hospital because we just kind of walk down the street, grab something to eat, and go back to the hospital. And she was like, I want to take you all out for a decent lunch. And she took us to a beautiful restaurant. And so it was just that level of care that was outstanding. And then when I left, it was finally, as my cousin was at a point where I knew it was, all good from that point forward. And my cousin, his mom, was okay. I wanted to make sure she had her routine down, and because I was kind of watching her back and making sure, as she was operating in her fog, that she was okay. So the fog for her was clearing, and it was an opportunity for me to um, to come back home. So I just I talk about community here a lot. You all are my community, and I'm very grateful for you all showing up like you do it on Sundays. And I always say I hope I'm giving to you all. That reciprocity is important. But it was just for me the confirmation of what I know I want and know I need in community. It was also for me. One of for me, it was an opportunity for me to think through, like I've spoken about the importance my tiny house is playing in this journey now of me being on medical leave, and from a financial perspective. And this was, my vision when I many years ago said I wanted to live a lighter lifestyle, and my tiny house being my retirement plan. But it's also a difference when you have the vision and then you have to put that vision into action and really live it. And so for me, the couple of weeks before I went to, this was 2014, a couple of weeks before I actually went to, thank you, Cynthia, before I actually went to pick up the tiny house trailer that my house is built on, because I drove to Florida and picked up my trailer myself. But a couple of weeks before I had done that, another cousin of mine, her dad had passed. Well, he was sick and then he passed. And during that time, I had the opportunity and, again, the privilege to stay with her as he was transitioning, and then go back and stay for the service, and just kind of be there to help her and navigate. And sometimes people just need somebody to keep them company. And so when I had the opportunity to do that, and then when I left her house, I came to Charlotte. She lives about an hour and a half from me. I came to Charlotte, picked up a friend of mine, and I drove to Florida to pick up my tiny house trailer. But during that time, that was when I had my tiny house plans, and I was talking to everybody about the fact that I was building a tiny house. And again, that was 2014, when most everybody thought I was just a weirdo. They probably still think I'm a weirdo, and I kind of am a weirdo. But for me, my thought, as I had the opportunity to stay with her, And I've worked remotely. Gratefully, I've worked remotely since 2007. But having that opportunity and being in the position to be able to stay with her during that time frame was so much of my why of why I was building a tiny house. And that was again before I'd even built the tiny house, but I knew the ability to be there to support the freedom, the um, opportunity, because again, it's a privilege. It is not, I know, I recognize it as being a privilege. Not everybody has that. I recognize the privilege in that, but it is also, no, not but, it is a privilege. My thought in designing my life and my home was to be able to do those types of things. And so fast forward to this year and dealing with the TIA, and then having this opportunity and privilege to be able to support my cousin for, I think I was there 10 or 11 days. I haven't counted the days. But to be able to be in a position to be able to do that, to help her out, it was just for me so much of the reminder of the reason, my why for my tiny house, my why for the work that I want to do, because I want other people to have that opportunity. I don't want us to um, be stuck in spaces where we can't support each other, or stuck in spaces where we don't have the freedom to relax and take time for healing and those things. Like I want that for us. I want that for our community. I want that for people, because we deserve that. Like we weren't created to work until we can't work anymore and then we die. Like that's not the story that I want for myself or for other people. So, um, being this past week was just really for me a big reminder of I'm still trying to figure out what I'm doing when I grow up, but so a lot of it, a big part of it, is on the right track, and I recognize that, and I'm grateful for that. So, and I'm also very grateful for you all. All right, let me check on these comments. Rachel, Grand Rising Jewel and Soul Collective Community. Looking forward to seeing you all at the festival. I am looking forward to seeing you all too and meeting you. Thank you, Michelle. I my when my other cousin reached out to let me know um that my cousin was in the hospital, it was just like I cannot imagine, like these last 90 days, and it's just been one thing after another. Like our mom passed, and it was just 10 days later she lost her grandsons. It was just like, how much more can someone take without breaking? And so and it's why I wanted to, like I said, be there, because there's only so much a person can take, for sure. Thank you, Robert. Thank y'all. KC says, hi, all. I am here today, but I have tons of stuff to do. Therefore, I am just listening today. We're glad you're here, KC. Thank you for listening and being here. Hey, Judith. Good morning. Thank you for being here. Um, Watching from Long Beach. Hello, Long Beach. Love catching blessings. It's early on your side. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Day. I appreciate that. Um, Oh yes, Rosalind. I hate the term third world country. That's why I said it, like, because it's insulting, it's rude, and it's also inaccurate. And it comes with a lot of privilege, that folks think that everything else is a third world country. It's really rude, and I hate it. Um, I bet your insurance company got billed as if they were there. Rosalind, I'm not sure I understand that comment. I'm gonna think about that, or give me some more context clues, and I can I can understand it. Yes, Mara, we always need community, and that is what we talk about a lot. Sometimes community can be family. Sometimes community, you choose your family and your community. Sometimes it's both. Um, but we do need it. And I feel like, and I have been solo for so very long, and I feel like there are times in life, and maybe getting older is one of those times where you need more community. And it's, I think it's the piece about it, that to me that is so important is the reciprocity in community. Like, it's not a community if you have some takers and not some give, and not, they're also not giving. So that good community, right community is important. So sorry, I have some fruit flies. Something, I left something out while I was gone those 11 days, and I am on the tail end of a fruit fly infestation, and man, I wanted to set the house on fire. But I'm winning. I am winning with them. Yes, Rosalind, a compassionate landlord is quite refreshing. I was like, who does that? Who says, um, don't you all have other things to worry about? Don't worry about this. Who says that? Uh, we're not weirdos. We're eclectic. Thank you, Rosalind. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Robert. Um, Terry says, thank you for reminding me that it's about the why. We are definitely grateful for you. Thank you. Yes, it's the why. It is because you'll get so caught up in, so that this is, and I'm gonna, as soon as I get myself together after this festival, I am going to relaunch my tiny house workshops. I don't know if they'll be in person. Maybe they will be. But the segment, the intro segment to my tiny house workshop is identifying your why. Because as you go through the journey of research, as you go through the journey of building, as you go through the journey of saving your money, as you go through the journey of dealing with builders and the hardship of building and all of the things, the running out of money, or maybe you won't run out of money. Maybe that was just my personal experience, and I still have trauma. But as you go through all of that, knowing the why and being able to keep referring back to the why is so very important, and it helps you remain on track and navigate the nonsense. So the why is so, so important, and identifying that up front. Hello, Effie Gaskin. Good afternoon from Baltimore. Oh, Rosalind saying when they did video. Oh. I bet your insurance company got billed as if they absolutely okay, thank you. Yes. When they did the video chat, they did not offer me a discount because they weren't in person. And you're absolutely right. I was charged just like they were there. Okay. Not weirdo, uniquely and wonderfully made. Thank you. Thank y'all. Miss BD, designing my life. Absolutely. That is important, like not just flowing through and not figuring out what your life needs to be like for designing your life. And like I my thought process started when my daughter went to kindergarten, which was like 1990s, maybe 1992. She would have been 5 then. Knowing that the hardship of young single motherhood was not the experience that I wanted to have, that hardship, of course, she was going to grow up, but that hardship and the struggle, because it was the struggle life, knowing that that wasn't what I wanted for my long-term vision or for my daughter, um, was the designing of my life and the way I started moving through life then. And then just knowing kind of once I got to, yeah, we hit this mark that I wanted to have ease and a lighter, and I kept just saying it was like a lighter lifestyle is for me was designing my life, and that is so very important first, other than kind of like where if you don't if you don't own it, if you don't design it yourself, if you don't figure that out for yourself and you're just going through the motions, somebody else then is designing it for you. and that's definitely not what I want to do. Terry is saying, can you remind us of the festival details or where to find the information? Absolutely. That is the second part of this live. I will be doing that. Uh, thank you, Robert. You- Robert is cutting up. Thank you, Robert. I appreciate the compliment. I appreciate you. You're hilarious, hilarious, hilarious. Good morning, Kitty from San Diego. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Yes, I intend to share the festival details, and I can do that right now. Thank you all for letting me share and talk about community. And thank you all again for being my community because I value all value you all immensely. Um, Missing Crystal this morning. I hope all is well. She's planning to be at the festival, so I will get to see her soon. Good morning, Teresa. I mean, good afternoon because it is afternoon here. Oh, very nice. I'm sure you enjoyed being with your granddaughter, and she enjoyed being with you. Thank you for watching. Um, Kitty is laughing out loud. I'm sure you're laughing at Robert. Um, all right, let's talk about the festival. Um, I am going to, all right, so I'm going to share my screen. Not that screen. Hang on a minute. There we go. Robert is asking me how am I doing. I'm doing okay. I am in go mode trying to work on all of these details for the Tiny House Festival that's happening next weekend, and then kind of regrouping on getting back, and still navigating my own personal um, health. But yeah, I'm okay. Thank you for asking. I'm figuring it out. So Kitty is asking, unfortunately, you won't get to be there. I'm sorry, you won't be able to be there. So updates on the virtual option for the audience. We did meet last week with a vendor to try to navigate what that would look like in per the vendor. It's going to be very expensive. Um, and so it doesn't appear that we're going to be able to do that. We are considering the possibility for recording the festival and maybe having that available, but I'm not exactly sure that will be the case either. So I don't want to make any promises, and unfortunately, we aren't going to be able to offer a virtual ticket right now. Um, yes, Robert is making you all crack up as he does me. Okay, so I want to talk about the festival and the plans for the festival and all of that good stuff. So, um, the itinerary. So, again, the website is, let me go back home. The website for information, tickets, etc., it's tinyhomefest.org. And then, so the itinerary. So, I want to it is at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. We're going to be at gate 26. That information is there under the itinerary. It's also, you'll find that information when you purchase your ticket. To kick off the event, it actually kicks off on Friday, and we have, this looks kind of big. We have a industry workshop happening on Friday. The title of that, Creativity in Action, Innovative Solutions for Affordable Housing. I'm very excited about this workshop. It is, I'll make it smaller, sorry y'all. There we go. This workshop, we have been inviting city, county, government officials, planners, all the folks in the area that are involved in making the rules around tiny houses. We're inviting them to this workshop, and we'll have Dan Fitzpatrick, Jinky Eccles, both um, fabulous people in the tiny house movement who have been doing work across the country. Jinky is in Florida. Dan has been instrumental in the work being done on the West Coast to allow tiny houses as ADUs, as communities, etc. And so they'll be hosting this workshop, and the intent is for them to share kind of their case studies of the work that they've been doing, how they've changed rules and regulations. Dan has been in his um, previous years actually worked, I believe, in code enforcement, so he can talk those details and with the people in the room. And so the hope is to facilitate change and change of mind and some understanding on how they can actually make these changes on the East Coast and in our area. Dwight Morgan, who you see listed here, he is the chief manufacturing officer at a local company here, Offsite Tech, Offsite Tech, and they you metal framing. They are in-house automation, robotic automation. They have the ability to build at scale, at speed, and a cost that makes building more affordable. I'm using my quote fingers when I say affordable, but they have the operations to assist, and they've worked with several communities for the unsheltered and building small communities. Um, and so he's going to be speaking to and sharing some of those case studies and the benefit that their facility can bring to the conversation. And so that is Friday. And so there's um, a different ticket for this. This is not part of the festival. The website for this is tinyhomefest.org workshop 2024. This is this page here to purchase a ticket. So this is here are the event details. It's free for city and county officials. There are tickets for general public. And so, again, that is a separate ticket. A working lunch is being provided. So that's going to be a conversation that I'm very excited about, because these are the same people that I've tried to be in conversation with for these last 10 years to change their minds around tiny houses. So sometimes they need to talk to the people who look like them is the real answer, but I'm excited nonetheless. That y'all heard me get that in there. All right, so that's Friday. And then Saturday is when the festival kicks off. And we have sessions, speakers from 10 to 5 on Saturday and Sunday. While the sessions are going on, there are also vendors, tiny houses, and we have tiny houses, we have schoolies, we have vans. So all of the things for people to tour and see and talk to dwellers and talk to builders will be going on at the same time. So you can dip in and see some sessions, and you can go meet the vendors and the exhibitors. There's also a kids corner for this is a family event, so there's a kids corner as well. So all of that will be going on at the same time. I am very proud of this speaker lineup, because this was the piece that I worked on for the festival. And so, as you see, Dan is Saturday's keynote speaker, and then Booker T. Washington, who created the Tiny House Community Foundation in Atlanta, is Sunday's keynote speaker. And then the everyone else here is a speaker Saturday or Sunday. There's some panels, some co-presenters, all of the things. And the thing I'm going to point out right here that I know you all see is the fact that it is very diverse. It is diverse in race, color, nationality, everything that you want to call it, men, women, black, brown, white, all of the things. So we've got that. And then it's also very diverse in the content. And so I'm going to share that with you in just a moment. But I'm going to scroll up and down again because I want you all to see this. I just saw a post that I had posted in August of I think it was 2021 maybe, of a speaker and a festival lineup that was all white men. I think they had one white woman, but they were all white. And I shared it and I called it out again. I mean, do we have to keep doing this? Can you not, at this point in life, find some black people to talk about tiny houses or be inclusive? If you're selling your plans and all of the things to black people, then include them in these conversations and let them be speakers as well. So I'm not going to get started, but I'm going to do it one more time so y'all can see. This work here. So I'm very proud of this. You can, if you're interested in reading speaker bios, you can come down and do that here. I also designed this page, so I'm also excited about that as well. I put this page together and did the work. So this is how you can read the bios. The links up here. So here, the session schedule for each day. The links here are downloadable PDFs. So you can see the sessions. And so here are your PDFs. I already have them up. And so this is Saturday. I don't know that you'll be able to see all of the content, but Saturday, we have two session rooms, and so at some points during the day there'll be sessions in both of the rooms, and then some points during the day we'll just have one of the rooms and one speaker going. So that is Saturday's schedule. I'm facilitating and participating in a panel discussion at 3:40 on Saturday about women pioneering change, the women that are leading the tiny house movement and breaking barriers in construction. So I'm facilitating that panel and participating in it as well. Some of the names here you are familiar with from guests who have been, from people who have been previous guests on the channel. So Nadia Giordani has been a guest here on my channel, and she's going to be talking about we shared that she's an Airbnb ambassador. She has a tiny house in her backyard, and so she's going to be sharing her process of building her tiny house and then using it as income, Airbnb. And then Sunday, let me find my Sunday session. So Sunday, offsite tech, the Dwight will be speaking. I'm still, as you see, waiting on information from him, but he's going to be speaking to talk about the work that he's going to share in Friday's workshop. He's also going to share with us on Sunday. And then we've got Bonnie, who is here today, is going to be talking about aging in place in tiny home living. One of the things that I want to call out when I said we're diverse in speakers as well as in content. So we're talking about aging in place. We're talking about sheltering the unhoused. We're for tiny houses. We're talking about foster the way tiny houses can be used for foster children in the foster system and as they're aging out. We're talking about that. We're also talking about serving the communities that we're talking about serving communities that need tiny houses the most. So they will be included in this conversation in addition to the conversation around affordable housing. Like, everybody needs to be at the table, and I wanted to be sure that that was represented in the content. And so that has been how I went about approaching this. And then Eric from Cape Charles Tiny Living, I see he stepped into the chat. Eric is going to be speaking to us. Eric Hawkins, Embrace the Freedom at 1 o'clock on Sunday. Embrace the freedom, adventure, and simplicity of tiny living and short-term rentals. He has a beautiful community in Virginia. He is going to, we have to coordinate a date, but he'll be one of my guests here on the channel as well to share his journey and story. But he's also going to be speaking to us on Sunday at the festival. And in addition to addressing making sure everyone's at the table, we'll also be talking about tiny houses as from a community perspective. One of the things that I've shared with you all is my desire now to take tiny houses from just individual solutions where we're all just kind of focused on self for the tiny house, but taking them into solutions for communities and for the collective. And that is a lot of the conversation that will happen on Saturday and Sunday. What communities are, what people are doing with communities and developing communities and addressing the need for tiny houses to support affordable housing. So that is um, that's the plan. And so let me see before I Latasha is asking, can you set up something in a small booth area and live stream it on your channel? I can't live stream the content from the festival. That wouldn't be, I don't like the word ethical, but that if it's not my content and if it's not going to be available to everyone, I wouldn't want to do that. Maybe we'll go live for a bit. I will have a booth there, so I'm going to talk about that in a second. But maybe we can go live for a little bit on Sunday, but I won't be able to share the content, unfortunately. Um, so I'm sorry. Um, Robert is saying, I see tiny homes on YouTube with a cost of 10 to 15K. Is that for the home package? That doesn't include the building cost, right? Can't imagine that would be the cost of the blueprint. I don't imagine that's the cost of the blueprint either. I'm not sure who can sell a tiny house at this point for 10 to 15K. I see people sharing things like from Home Depot, Lowe's, buy a tiny house for 10 to 15K. Um, the ones that I see are mostly like sheds that are going to need a lot of work to get them to the point to be livable. Um, so it's not going to be, the shed, the shell itself might be 10 to 15K, and it's going to be small for 10 to 15K as well. But to get it to the point of being able to live in it is definitely not going to be a total of 10 to 15K. Um, Jeanette is asking, is it too late to register for the upcoming tiny house event? No, it is not too late. Tickets will be available, actually be available day of. So um, you can still get a ticket. She's also asking, wanted to know if anyone female would like to share the cost of a hotel room. Jeanette, I don't know if you feel comfortable dropping your email address. If someone wants to reach out to you, if you feel comfortable doing that, please do that. If you want someone to get in touch with you about that. Hello, Eric. Welcome. Um, Looking forward to meeting you in person this weekend. Latasha is saying, love having different perspectives. Absolutely. Okay, so a conversation is already happening. So Terry and Jeanette might be connecting. That's what community is supposed to do. Thank y'all. Cynthia, I'm excited too. Michelle is saying, we have always been open and inclusive. Not surprised you have a diverse group. I hope they all will understand the importance of your message of a tiny house, inclusive and safe community for people of color. I said that same thing. So, Jinky Eccles and Janet Thorne, we've had some side conversations, and Janet keeps saying thank you for us being so inclusive. And I've said the same thing to her. We are inclusive. We're not always included, but we're inclusive people. We, I think, lead by example, and the example isn't always followed. And I posted that on my social media page that when they say be the change you want to see, I have long, long, long called out the fact of the lack of inclusion and representation, and the lack of content inclusion and representation. And so the work that I did here is what I wanted to see over the years. And it was very nice for me to stumble upon a post. It was actually a white man. I also shared that on my socials. A white man um, commented in the tiny house group, and he called out the fact that this was the most diverse and inclusive tiny house event speaker lineup he'd seen, and he called it out, and I appreciated that. And I thanked him for that because it has not been seen, and so I'm excited to show them how to do it. And I don't expect that they'll do it, still do it, or do it right, or change their minds, because at this point that's who they are. But I can still show them how it should be done. Um, Absolutely. I'm looking forward to your presentation. Um, Rosalind is saying those are probably shedominiums. I agree. That's the same thing I said, that those are sheds. 10 to 15K is going to be a moderately sized shed that you're going to have to put in a lot of effort, work, resources, materials to get it to something that's livable. Right. Teresa is saying 10 to 15K is probably an 8 by 16 tiny house on wheels. So no, I'm not a tiny house on wheels, because you, for 10 to 15K, you really can't even buy a tiny house trailer. A custom tiny house trailer is going to be the bulk of that 10 to 15K. So I'm still thinking it's a shed, and a shed on skids, a shed that's on the ground, not wheels. Linda is saying shedominiums. That's the average size of apartments here in Jacksonville, with rents $1,500 to $3,000. Absolutely. It's ridiculous. Absolutely. Um, and Bonnie is saying community is the heart of it for aging in this place. Absolutely. That's the conversation that we had the other week with Elizabeth. It is community. It is the need that comes back, that you as you come full circle to needing community. Hey, Frederick, I'm looking forward to meeting you. Robert is saying, no, these are homes on foundations. Robert, I don't believe, if it's a home on foundation, we need the links, because everybody here needs to buy one if it's $10,000 to $15,000. I don't believe that for 1 minute. It's going to cost you $10,000 to $15,000 to pour a foundation. Um, so to pour a foundation, to get the permits and do all those things. So I'd be very interested to see what it is that you're looking at. V Cooper is saying, I am getting my ticket now. I'm also looking for a room in an Airbnb, either just a room or the entire unit to myself. Looking forward to having you here. Okay, Robert's going to send us a link. V is saying, I thought I'd come in on Friday afternoon for the industry event, but that looks like it's specialized and geared just to industry folks. No, the general public is invited as well, because what I feel like is important, and is one, for the industry folks to see that there are a lot of people who are interested in tiny houses as solutions. So that attendance is important there. It's also, and to pipe in when there are questions and things, so that they can hear it from the general public perspective. And then it also will be helpful to people who might have to have some conversations with these types of people as they're navigating their own tiny house journey, to help them understand, how to have those conversations. So no, it is not just geared toward industry folks. There's a lot of learning and opportunity for someone who's just um, general public. Michelle is saying Elizabeth was wonderful. It was a great conversation. It was like, and I feel like we need to. Well, one, we're going to figure out how to work together. But there was the comments from that conversation were just beautiful of how many people it resonated with, and how many people just enjoyed that conversation. And I thought it was one of my best conversations. I really enjoyed it as well. Um, Cynthia is saying there was a news report this morning on a news station in Charlotte that reported to purchase a home in North Carolina, a person needs to make $92,000 to be able to own a home due to rising costs. Um, I there's an article that I read maybe 6 or so months ago that said there was nowhere in the United States that someone making minimum wage could afford to rent a two-bedroom apartment. Um, So it's in nowhere in the United States. Um, Rosalind is saying, and it's ridiculous. Rosalind is saying, "Run, Robert! It's a scam." I say it's a scam too. Um, it doesn't sound right. Um, Cynthia, as a side note, your last name is very interesting to me. I wonder if you're. I'm I'm friends with some Vincents here, and you're here in the area, so I'm friends. I consider them family, and um, that's their last name. So I'm wondering if you're related to my peoples. Um, okay. V says, I'm here for the entire event, immersion into all things tiny houses. I'm excited for you. Okay, let me talk about one other thing. So I'm figuring out all the details for I am going to have a booth at the festival. It won't be a booth where somebody is going to man it the entire time. It will be one of those self-manned booths. But I will have a step and repeat. Does everybody know what a step and repeat is? Because I um, just recently understood within the last couple of years what a step and repeat was. It's one of those things that people have in events that you stand in front of and take pictures. I was going to try to show you what mine is going to look like, but I'm not exactly sure where. Um, the email is right this minute. But anyway, so I will have a step and repeat there. And I will have some signage there. So I want folks to take pictures um, at my booth. I want you to tag my socials in the in your pictures, and then I also will be giving away two, and I might consider adding another one or so. I'm not 100%. But right now I'm giving away two 30-minute consultations, um, registering there at my booth. And so it'll be a QR scan. And so you can win a free consultation visiting my booth and registering via the QR scan. And so that'll be happening at the booth. And then as I have time, I'll come by. Um, and absolutely, I want to. Oh, right, Rosalind, self-woman booth. Thank you, thank you for that clarification. Um, so, and I will absolutely have time to connect and chat. Like that's important to me. To be able to do that, I don't want to be working at 100% and not get to enjoy it. So, I'm planning to do that. So, thank you, Cynthia. I plan to do that. Frederick is saying, I want to catch all of the saucy conversations about the movement. What's on the agenda? So I think maybe you're talking about the Friday workshop, um, Frederick, because went over the agenda, or maybe you got here late, so maybe you missed the agenda where we went over Saturday and Sunday. So what I'm going to do is drop the link in the chat where you can see the speakers and you can get the session schedule for Saturday and Sunday. It is a downloadable PDF. You can see it on your phone. Um, again, I did that work. I'm going to be adding website development to my website, to my resume. So anyway, yeah, okay. So I knew you were late. So we did go over. We talked about the session. So I dropped the link, and I look forward to seeing you and getting to meet you in person. And I think that's it. I think that's what I had to go through and talk through with you all. Hi, Lisa. Um, BD said, I pulled over to chat. I'm getting back on the road. Geek to see so many of you at the festival. I'm excited to see you all as well. I know some of you have ordered some gear so we can be able to identify you. Don't be mad at me if I don't know your name. One, I'm horrible with names, and two, sometimes social names are different from your name, your real name, like Honey Bear. That ain't your name. That ain't what your mama named you. So, but I might know you as Honey Bear because that's how you show up. So, give me some grace. Plus, y'all know my brain is all over the place right now. And that's a good question. Teresa is asking, Robert, will you be there? Inquiring minds want to know. Robert, will you be at the Tiny House Festival? So we're going to wait for Robert to respond because I think that's a fabulous question. This is an opportunity for all of us to get to meet him, and myself included. Even though I've had several marriage proposals I have shared, I've not yet met Robert. So, Robert, we want to know, are you going to be there? Um, Robert says, sorry, I'm always on the road. There are some roads that go through Charlotte near the Charlotte Motor Speedway that you could drive through and still attend the Tiny House Festival. There's some roads right over there. I know it. But we're gonna let you slide this time. What else? I think I've answered everything. Um, for those of you all in the Patreon community, we have a conversation this week. I think it is Wednesday. Let me look at my calendar right now. Yes, Wednesday. We have, and I'll send out the reminder. We have a Patreon community conversation on at 7 o'clock on 7 East on Wednesday. So we'll be chatting there again. Thank you, Teresa. Like, share, comment, subscribe to the channel, share this. Yes. Um, yes, Honey Bear. That's what I mean. Saying, hey, Honey Bear, nice to meet you. You can be saying, my name is Lisa. Oh, okay, Lisa Honey Bear. That's I gotta call you Honey Bear because that's your name in social media. Yes, BT Booker T is going to be there. He's Sunday's keynote. Um, so yes. Hi, Elle. Um, I hope you're having a great day too. Lisa, Lisa says the king does need a queen. The queen does need a king. I said that's so backward. Um, I'm happy you will be there. Oh, Teresa, let me share Teresa's post. Robert, Teresa frowned at you. Robert, we can't talk about the proposal and me saying yes until I get to meet you. There's some preliminaries right there that have to happen. Um, Elle, I hope you attend the festival as well. I am hoping to see a lot of you all in real life, as they say. I have the opportunity. Okay, Lorraine is saying, AK, her name is Lorraine, AKLL. So if I meet Lorraine, I know the L stands for Lorraine. So when she introduces herself, I can associate Lorraine and the L. Um, so I appreciate that. All right, good people. Um, I will miss you all next Sunday. Maybe I'll try to go live if I have the opportunity. If I can figure out how to do it, I might be able to do that. We'll figure it out. Crystal will be there. Maybe she can be my stand-in. We'll figure something out. Yes, Robert, you do need to get there. Um, what else? That's all I have. I got some work I need to go do. So I thank y'all. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for being my community and being my support system. And I look forward to seeing some of you next weekend. And then Robert Roslin said you have to be fully vetted. Putting eyes on you is the first step. So you have been called out. So there you have it. Um, my community is circling to make sure all things are as they should be. Um, but anyway, thank you all as always for being here on Sundays. This is the highlight of my day, of my week, the highlight of the end of the week, the highlight of my getting ready for the next week. So I so appreciate you all. Love catching blessings. I love this community. I love it as well. So thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Lisa. Happy Sunday. See you all soon. Have a great week. Be safe. Robert is laughing, and we're all so serious. Um, thank you very much. Happy Sunday. Take care, everybody.